A letter to my future daughter. I have had 5 best friends out of my 17 years of life. From the fickle-weathered cul-de-sacs of Virginia to the salted seas of California, coast to coast and sea to sea, I've seen an almost annual scene of shrinking women with increasing insecurity, daily inferiorities that dull their personalities and outshine their eyes. My first best friend was a beautiful blend of Kenyan and Japanese. She's a starless night sky with waning eyes. The stars reside between the rifts of her smile. She was afraid to look dark, and she was afraid of the white, and it wasn't the white and stitching twine, but the fear of unwavering classmates' eyes. They always used to call her Shadow. We were 9 years old when she told me she wished she didn't have curly hair. I knew it was because of the boy whose hands lingered in the strands for too long. I knew it was because the pretty girl in our grade didn't have the same winds and vines and twists. I don't know how to tell her she's beautiful. My second best friend was a miracle of Mexican marvel. She's everything like an ocean tide, unpredictable, reckless, and dark green-eyed, but often behind the waves of the hair she'd hide from the endless buzzing of incessant snide. I remember sitting by her bed as she cried she couldn't always come to school. We were 12 years old when she told me she wished she could get contacts. I knew it was because of the boy who called her 4 eyes. I knew it was because the pretty girl in our grade didn't have the same plastic black frames. I don't know how to tell her she's beautiful. My third best friend was a Persian princess. Her hair cascaded like a curtain to the dips in her waist. She was like flowing fabric, cotton velvet, and lace. She liked to hide behind the curtain of her face. Though it covered the window of the girl she misplaced, she's afraid of taking up too much space. The curtain of her hair now reaches her shoulders. We were 13 years old when she told me she wished her thighs were thinner. I knew it was because the boy who stared too long. I knew it was because the pretty girl in our grade had thighs she can wrap her fingers around. I don't know how to tell her she's beautiful. My fourth best friend is an English angel, a blue-eyed, blonde-haired beauty queen. She's got everyone kneeling at her feet, and though the kingdom of her figure complements the subject of her genes, and she's lived in that castle for as many years as 16, she can't help but not want herself to be seen. The exterior of her empire often hides. We were 15 years old when she told me she wished she didn't have to wear makeup. I knew it was because the boy who told her she looked tired without it. I knew it was because the pretty girl in our grade didn't wear the same makeup. I don't know how to tell her she's beautiful with or without it. My fifth best friend is a glowing Indian image, kaleidoscope eyes and black hair out of the braids. She's got to be the prettiest girl in the grade. Sunshine under her skin, she's not ordinarily made, but no one has had the luxury to see her sun's rays, and I know it's because she's inevitably afraid that they'll extinguish her light in one breath. It was last week when she cried to me and told me she wished she looked like someone else. But how could she wish when that boy looks as if she put the blue in the sky? And how could she wish when she is that pretty girl in our grade? I don't know how to tell her she's beautiful. My mother never warned me about this. My mother warned me about cigarettes and blackened lungs and drunk driving and drugs, but my mother never told me how hating yourself is just as pure of a poison as Hennessy or Newports. I've met thousands of girls in my life with so much love to give, and not a single one of those girls gave that love to herself. Not a single one of those girls told me that she loved herself. When I asked if you could look like anyone else in the entire world, who would it be? The answers ranged from Megan Fox to Angelina Jolie to her own best friend, but not a single one of the girls said, "I'm completely happy looking like me." A letter to my future daughter. Don't you dare ever hate yourself. The same way I hated myself, in the same way my mother hated herself, in the same way her mother hated herself, and on the endless list goes. I know my way around the maze of mental illness, and like so many others, you will not follow me there. To the twisted routes where the numbers of calories and sugar-free gum and envelope glue reside, to the sudden stops of self-harm and self-loathing, to the dead ends of death and discouragement and utter hopelessness, there are so many of us women lost in this maze of self-hate, and it's got less to do with the magazines or the media, and less to do with the beautiful woman on TV, and even more to do with how your mother responds when you tell her you feel fat, and how your best friend comforts you when you tell her you feel ugly. You all have been taught that self-hate is normal, a phase in your life that some of you may never outgrow. A letter to my future daughter. Hating yourself is not normal. Diets are not normal. Laxatives and miracle weight losses and Photoshop women on the cover of Vogue magazine is not normal. And someone once told me the women in the magazines don't even look like the women in the magazines, and I know that's hard to believe, and I know what self-hatred is. Trust me, I guarantee that there are days where it's almost impossible to be me. And it's become harder and harder for you all to see that you are all beautiful. A letter to my future daughter. Love yourself. Unconditionally, passionately, happily. When I ask you if you could look like anyone else in the world, who would it be? I want you to say me. When I ask you who is the most beautiful girl in the world, I want you to say me. When I ask you if you could be anyone else, who would it be? I want you to say, no, Mom, I'm completely happy being me. Unconditionally, passionately, happily love yourself. Be your own best friend. Be your own biggest fan. Be your own soulmate. Love yourself unconditionally, passionately, happily, with the lights on, with the mirrors uncovered, with the scale under your feet. Love yourself. When your jeans feel a little tight, when the hairdresser cuts your bangs too short, when your acne has covered every inch of your face, love yourself. Even when you're sad, even when you're angry, even when you're jealous and alone and confused, you have to keep loving yourself. Love yourself with overlined red lipstick, a thick winged eyeliner, and love yourself when the makeup has run down the shower drain and your face is naked and bare and tinted pink. Love yourself, love yourself, love yourself unconditionally, passionately, happily. When someone tells you that you're too fat, you thank them and you tell them that I know. When someone tells you that you're too skinny, you thank them and you tell them that I know, because you never have to apologize for how much space you occupy in this world. You can be fat and beautiful. You can be skinny and beautiful. Beautiful isn't a jean size or a tag on a t-shirt. Beautiful isn't a number on a scale or a small, medium, or large. There isn't just one beautiful. It is okay to love yourself despite the number on the tag of your favorite jeans, despite the width of your hips, despite the composition of your skin, despite the consistency of your hair. When someone tells you that you're too confident, you smile and you tell them that you're not too anything, because you're never too anything and you're always enough and even more than enough, and you're never too much of this or too little of that, and I'm tired of girls apologizing for loving themselves. A letter to my future daughter. You never have to apologize for loving yourself. Love yourself unconditionally, passionately, happily. A letter to every woman in this room. You never have to apologize for loving yourself. Love yourself unconditionally, passionately, happily.